Something the state is seeking to be heard by the court?
Yes, Your Honor, we are. We're seeking a date as soon as the court is available.
Okay, well, I'm available anytime. As far as I know, that was where we left it, and then the date was canceled, and then nobody followed up with my assistant. So if you all wouldn't mind following up with her, she can coordinate a date with the parties, okay? But we can get it heard as early as this week.
Well, I'm out of town this week, Your Honor, so I would ask for sometime next week. I have been in touch with your JA. I think she was waiting for the order that you entered last week or right before I left. So I'll get a date and coordinate with the defense.
Okay, no problem. Other than that, on the 18-14129, are there any other outstanding issues prior to the trial?
Not from the state.
Well, Judge, we do anticipate filing another motion, but to dismiss. But once we file it, we can coordinate a date to set it.
Okay, and just so everyone knows, the administrative judge put out 2 or 3 days a week that we are able to now have in-person hearings. So if either side is waiting for the court on an in-person hearing, all you have to do is call my assistant, and we're happy to reserve those dates. I'm quite sure that we'll get priority over the other divisions. I mean, I hate to say that in such a, I don't mean to sound persnickety when I say that, but this case has been given priority based on the volume of the case. So all you have to do is let us know what needs to be heard. And like I said, we can put it on as early as this week, next week, whenever you all are available. We're able to reserve an entire morning or an entire afternoon or both for this case. So we are here to serve, and you all just let me know when you need things to be heard, and we'll make it happen. So on the 18-1958 case, the homicide case, is there anything that needs to be discussed as far as housekeeping matters or anything at all that needs to be discussed?
Yes, Your Honor, we're waiting for the defense to provide us, as we discussed last time, the mental health experts. It's our understanding that they were going to go in the end of last month.
Okay.
And we're waiting for those names and, any motions so we can get on there. As you well know, there are 17 families who are waiting, for this to get going.
I understand. Ms. Curtis, when are you going to be doing that?
Well, Judge, we started having some experts go in, but we have experts going in all throughout the summer. And, until we're further in or those experts have gone in, we don't really know exactly. I mean, we don't have any information to give them at the moment. So as soon as we have it and it's required of us to give it, we'll do it. But we don't have it right now.
I just don't understand. I mean, throughout the summer, you said a, tentative date for September. I mean, we've been complying with discovery. We would hope that, we get discovery back so we can proceed with what we have to do.
I mean, I'm happy to set a deadline if that would move things along.
That'd be fine.
Well, Judge, we have all our dates set up with our experts. So, I don't, if you want to set a deadline, that's fine. But we've already got it all planned out in terms of the experts that we know are going in so far. And we don't know what the results of those are going to be. But, as soon as we were able to get them back into the jail or get people into the jail, we started doing that.
Judge, if I may, this is Jeff Marcus. In our discussions, we've been told that their last expert is scheduled for the end of August, which is 3 months from now. And, obviously that we would need time as well with mental health experts, assuming they file what we expect. And the end of August then puts us into a much later time span.
Your Honor, this is Melissa McNeil. May I be heard about the experts? So I can Judge, as the court recalls, right before the pandemic, the Florida Supreme Court denied our motion to seal that we had for the protective order to seal the visitation logs. And then the pandemic hit. So we couldn't send in any of those experts now that we were in a position to be able to do that. During the pandemic, all of our experts were contracted with. They have reviewed all of the material that we've given them, all of the records like we told you we had been doing during the pandemic. And as you know, there are no other experts that are going in and meeting with criminal defendants at the Broward County Jail. The Broward County Jail is making special accommodations for Mr. Cruz. And that took a while to facilitate. I'm working with BSO and they have been very accommodating. But our experts are not all in Broward County. They're all over the country. And this is not their only case. So, and there's a specific order in which some of these experts need to go before we do other testing. So the experts are scheduled, their flights are scheduled, their contracts are scheduled, their meetings are scheduled with the BSO, and they've all been coordinated along with any equipment that they're going to bring into the jail. Our last expert that we currently have contracted with is scheduled for the end of August. And I can tell you now that the experts that are seeing him and that will be seeing him, I have no idea what they're going to produce, Judge. It may require additional experts. But as the court instructed us, as soon as we were able to get them in, given the confines of COVID and the restrictions at the jail, we did in fact do that. And we don't know if we have a mental health presentation for phase 2. The Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure require us to provide that information to the state of Florida 20 days before phase 1. We will comply with that. But in all honesty, Judge, we just don't know what we have yet until all of the tests have been performed, scored, evaluated, and then we make an assessment as to whether or not we want to use that expert or if it requires us to do additional testing. So COVID has put us all for a spin, Judge, but as soon as we were able to get our experts in there, we did. And the conversation that I'm having with you right now is the conversation that I had with Mr. Marcus this week. It's not a delay tactic. It's how it's all played out. We are appreciative to the Broward Sheriff's Office to make these accommodations for this one criminal defendant in the 17th Judicial Circuit, because I'm sure that there are other defendants that would like to see experts, and there's other victims' families that would like their cases to move along. So we're doing the very best that we can, Judge, and accommodating and following the court's order, but we can't force these experts to fly down here if their schedule doesn't accommodate them or accommodate us.
Why can't we get the ones that are set 3 months out moved up?
Because this is when they could come, Judge. We started, I want to say April, as soon as we were able to work with the Broward Sheriff's Office with the arrangements, and as soon as our experts were comfortable with going in. And then we set expert 1, expert 2, expert 3, how many other experts we have. But this isn't their only case. Some of these people are professors. Some of these people have clinical practices. They have their own lives and their own schedules. And this is their availability. We've given them certain dates based on what other experts are doing and how they're coming in.
Your Honor, just our position that there's experts all over the country, and waiting till the end of August is unreasonable based on the length that this case has been pending.
And I can understand Mr. Satt's frustration, because as we have all discussed, both the Public Defender's Office and the State Attorney's Office, we would like a resolution to this case too. But it wasn't until April of 2021 that we were able to get our experts in. So we have selected experts based on the records that we have, the records that have already been provided to the State Attorney's Office. And those doctors are doing what they need to do in order to provide us with the information that we may or may not be able to use. Not everybody in the world's life is controlled by Nicholas Cruz.
Okay, I don't think we need to go there. In any event, State, if you're asking me to set a deadline, what are you at? What deadline are you asking me to set?
it's hard to give you a deadline when we don't have any information. We have to know who the experts are, what they're going to say. We have to depose them. We have to get their raw data, their test scores, any reports, their notes, so we can prepare to take their deposition and get our experts in. So it's hard if they're going to send them in August, it's going to take us time to prepare. I mean, the defense, and I understand about the pandemic and everything, but for the last 3 years, they've been preparing. We don't want to be between a rock and a hard place. Okay, let's go. And we're not, prepared on the mental health because we don't know what it is yet.
All right. Is there anything else that needs to be addressed today? Are there any, specifically, are there any motions that you all are waiting to have heard in person that I can set or get put on the in-person docket?
Right now, we just, as far as I know, can remember, Your Honor, there's one of our motions is outstanding.
Which is?
The swastika motion.
And that's to be heard in person?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, the law is clear and,
if you all could just, I mean, there's hundreds of motions. Does anybody have a number by chance? I just don't remember off the top of my head.
Judge, on that motion, if I could just make a suggestion that maybe we hold off on that. We have been trying to work with the prosecution team to come to agreements on certain things to avoid having to file and litigate motions in limine.
Okay.
Obviously, there will be things we can agree on and things that we can, but maybe based on some of those discussions, that one may be something where it doesn't end up needing to be heard. Maybe not, but at least, we've only sort of had one meeting and it was productive, but not, we didn't get very far through. So if we could just try it, we have another one, I think, set up. We can try to get through that and see maybe what we need to do and what we don't in terms of motions.
And after that meeting, you can make a list of what needs to be heard by the court and what is agreed to?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
When is that meeting? So I know, so I can set the next status.
Give me just a moment. I'm not sure.
June 24th.
I think that's a Thursday. Okay, why don't we do a status? If we do a status that following week, is that enough time for you all to put together? Let's say we do it on June 30th at 1:30. Is that enough time for you all to put together the outstanding issues that need to be heard by the court? I just don't want to, if there's anything that I can be doing as far as hearing motions, ruling on things, getting things out of the way so that they're not left for the time of trial. That's my point here. If there's anything that I can be doing to help facilitate this as far as setting hearings, I'm happy to do so. I just need to know what needs to be heard and when it can be heard. So right now, there's nothing outstanding except for a motion regarding a swastika that you all may or may not agree to on the 24th of June.
Right.
Okay.
That's my understanding, Judge. And yesterday I sent 2 over potential motions in limine for the state to review to see if we could agree in part, in whole, or not at all.
Okay.
And in March, we sent over a list of probably 24 issues that we wanted to do a motion in limine on to see if we can have the same. The state hasn't had an opportunity to review those issues. Hopefully by the end of June, we'll have a resolution to some of those. So we have been making efforts to meet monthly to try and keep on track. It's, I think, both the goal of the defense and the goal of the state of Florida that when we're in trial, it's as efficient as possible. So we're all trying to work towards that, Judge.
Well, I appreciate it. So we'll meet back on June 30th at 1:30 if that time and date suits all of you. And hopefully on that day, you can give me a list of what needs to be heard and approximately how long you need for each issue to be addressed so that I can then set time aside on the July and August in person. Obviously, this is developing daily as far as what is open and what's not, but I'm thinking by July we'll have even more opportunities to have in-person hearings. And maybe by August, we won't even be on Zoom anymore. Although I think it's kind of a wait and see at this point, as far as how quickly we're reopening. So if we plan on meeting June 30th at 1:30 on Zoom, that'll be on the FJ Zoom link that you all followed to be present today. And if you can give me a status, an update as far as what's outstanding, I would appreciate it.
Ron, the only thing I would, request is, the end of August for their experts is just too long.
Well, Judge, the other issue, aside from the ability of these experts to go in and their own particular situations, we also can't send them in one day after the next. It's going to end up affecting the results of the testing. And then, of course, the state will then, challenge the validity of the test because, and the data would be compromised. I mean, we need to also be, mindful that some of these tests need to be spaced out, and that was part of our calculation. And, it was also based in part on their availability. So, we are doing the best that we can.
I just feel that 3 months from now is just unreasonable.
All right, I'm going to think about it and perhaps issue an order later this week.
Just so the court's aware, those experts that are scheduled to the end of August, their flights have been paid for, their hotel accommodations have been paid for. All of the dates have been cleared by the Broward Sheriff's Office, including any equipment that they were going to be bringing into the facility. Just so you know where we're at with that.
Okay, is there anything else for today that we need to discuss on either of the cases?
Not from the state on the second case.
No, Your Honor, that's the only motion I know that's at this point is outstanding, the one with the swastikas.
Okay, so I'm going to wait till June 30th to hear from you all whether or not that can be agreed to or not. If it's not, then we'll either set it for a hearing or I can rule on the pleadings depending on what's been filed and what you all are requesting. And we'll set any of the outstanding motions at that time for a hearing. And I'm going to think about the expert witnesses, setting some type of a more strict timeline on that issue. Other than that, I think I'll sign off for today and see you all on June 30th at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Something
Thank
heard
you.
and just let me know, please. I'm available. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.